Welcome back, guys. Andrew Delich Podcast. Of course, another reality check. I'm gonna be alone. This is reality check number 10. So I guess I have to do the intro and the warning, as usual. So, guys, you guys know no one loves and respects all human beings more than I do. No one. Every single human being on planet Earth, I love him or her. Okay, so guys, I feel like people don't really want to hustle because to hustle it's hard. It's hard to take rejection. It's hard to be consistent, and just in general, to hustle it's hard. So I feel like people they love to talk about. You know what? I love to hustle when they're with their friends. Yo, bro, we gotta hustle. We gotta put in the work. We gotta do what other people aren't ready to do. We gotta go after it. Of course, that's the best mentality to have, regards in everything in life. And everything that's the best mentality to have. But I feel like 95% of human beings, they don't really, 95, I mean, 95% is really generous. I feel like it's more 99%. I feel like 99% of human beings don't really want to hustle. They just love the drama of it. Let's say they love saying it. You know what? Let's fucking go and hustle. I'm a hustler, baby. I'm a hustler. This, that, whatever. But when push comes to shove, when it's time to really put in the hustle, when it's time to face rejection and failure, then it's either they don't face it because they don't go the extra length and they don't actually hustle, so they never get the chance to even receive failure or rejection, or when they do take that extra length, that extra step, and of course, no matter what you do in life, in the beginning it's going to be really hard. You're going to have a lot of rejection before you get some success and a lot of failure. And I feel like 99% of people, when they get one rejection or one failure, they stop immediately. But you have to keep going no matter how many times you fail, no matter how many rejections you get. You have to keep going and going and going. And that's even less than 1%. That's maybe like 0.00001% of human beings who are capable of continuing when they face rejection and failure. And the more you can face rejection and failure and never give up, the more successful you will be. Okay, so of course, still talking about rejection and failure, I also feel like men who are better at taking rejection and failure from women, who take it less personal and they keep striving even after many women tell them no, 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 then they translate that capability they have of taking rejection and failure easily into other aspects in their life. So let's say there's a guy who easily takes rejection from women, easily. He goes to a bar, approaches a beautiful woman. She says, no, get the fuck out of my face. And he's like, okay, have a nice night. And he keeps going on to the next one, on to the next one, and on to the next one. I feel like guys like them, like him, or hypothetical guy like John Smith, whatever his name is. I feel like guys like John Smith who take rejection easily from women are better at taking rejection in regarding every other aspect in life. So let's say at work, with their friends, for entrepreneurship, in business, in politics, in social media, in whatever. Being able to take rejection from women easily, and you can start younger. You can have like 14, 15 when you start approaching women, when guys start getting interested in women and approaching them. The faster you get more confident and more, the faster it's easier for you to take rejection from women. That will translate later on into your life into other aspects, and which will make you, at the end of the day, more successful with women and also more successful in other areas of your life, like business or whatever else you want to accomplish in your life. So early on, if you're capable of taking rejection from women easily and more quickly it happens in your life, that you acquire that skill, it will translate into all other aspects of your life, and that will just make you a better human being, and you'll accomplish way more in your life. Okay, so I know maybe not recently. I think it was this summer, right? There was a big rap beef between Drake and K. Dot. Very big rap beef. Of course, K. Dot won. Kendrick Lamar, he won. Drake in the beginning, he went heavy. He had some good songs. He had some good shots towards K. Dot. But at the end, of course, K. Dot won. He released like 2 songs inside of 30 minutes. 2 songs he released, and he destroyed Drake in that battle rap, right? But of course, I still think Drake is a bigger rapper than Kendrick altogether. I think he accomplished more. And at the end of the day, Kendrick is a better battle rapper than Drake, that's for sure. Drake isn't really a battle rapper. He's like a rapper slash pop star. That's how I consider Drake. He's not a pop. He's not only just a pop star, and he's not only just a rapper. I feel like he's a mix of both. That's how I see personally. That's how I personally see Drake. But what I wanted to get to is the greatest battle rapper of all time is Eminem, Slim Shady. There's no better rapper, a battle rapper than Eminem. Now, is he the greatest rapper of all time? I'm not sure. He's definitely top 5. That's for sure. No matter who you are, even if you don't like his music, even if you don't like his persona, his personality, you don't like his face, whatever, you got to put him top 5 of all time just for everything he accomplished. His longevity, especially in the early 2000s, from let's say 1998 to 2010, that was mostly like his peak in those years. But he's one of the GOATs. You have to give it to him. But when it comes to battle rapping, he is the GOAT. He's not one of the GOATs for battle rapping. He is the GOAT. So I remember when I was younger, maybe like early teenager, 12, 13, my father always used to tell me, Andre, every single day you should look to fail at something. You should do something and fail. Every single day you should face failure. In the beginning, when I was younger, I was like, what kind of fucking stupid shit is that? What do you mean you want me to face failure? What do you mean I should face failure? Then he said, yes, because the quicker you face failure and the more failure you face early on in your life, the quicker you'll be successful. And the more successful you'll be, the more that you fail. And the more that you fail, there's like this gene code that Jordan Peterson talked a lot about it. Andrew Huberman talked a lot about it. Joe Rogan with Jordan Peterson talked a lot about it. Is the more you fail and the more you face things that you're afraid to do, or the more that you face things that you're afraid to face, the more genetics you'll develop, the bigger person you'll become. It's like you unlock new skills. It's like you unlock a new level of yourself in life. Let's say life is like a video game, and your character is a character in the video game. Your personality, your person is a character in the video game. And in a video game, when you take your character and when he accomplishes things, when he wins fights or when he does side quests or whatever. Now I'm talking like if it's a video game, but it's the same analogy, the same logic. If you take your character and if you make him face tougher opponents, slowly tougher and tougher opponents, the more he levels up. And then at the end of the game, he's a way stronger character than he was in the beginning. Same goes for life, in real life, with your own self, with your own being. When you take yourself and slowly every single day, day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, you take on challenges that for you that day, it's a big challenge. And then you face that challenge and you overcome that challenge. Then you level up in a way. You become a better person, a bigger person. There's more of you that comes out. And like in a video game, you level up in life. So if you take, let's say you start your journey of finding yourself and of completing something that you find that it's worthy to accomplish. Let's say you start at 16 and then from 16 to 25, every single day, every single week, every single month, and every single year, you do something that you're afraid to do. You face new challenges. You accomplish new things. You win new challenges. You obtain new objectives. Then at the end of the day, you're going to be a way better person at 25, from 16 to 25, than if at 16 to 25, you didn't face challenges you're afraid to face. You didn't face your fears or whatever. This 25-year-old is going to be way further in life and way more leveled up in life than the other person who's 25, also the same age, but from 16 to 25, he didn't face his fears, he didn't challenge himself, and he didn't accomplish what he had to accomplish because he was afraid of rejection and failure and to look stupid in front of other people or whatever. And also this makes me think, recently I saw a video of Gary Vee on Instagram. Shout out Gary Vee. He's one of the greatest social media personalities I ever saw. And he said the reason that most people are afraid to post on social media is because they think life is still high school. They're all afraid of what are my friends going to think about this? What are the girls going to think about this? What are people going to think about what I post? Or they're just afraid that it won't do good. And then he said, it won't do good. Who gives a fuck? You keep on going. Of course, in the beginning, no one's good at social media. Gary Vee, now he has millions and millions of followers. In the beginning in social media, it was ass. Not only him, anyone now who's accomplished in social media a lot with millions of followers, millions of dollars, whatever. In the beginning, they weren't good. They were shit. even if I might add, pardon my French, but they were shit. And now they are where they are because they never gave up and they kept going. And by doing every single, let's say me, when I do every single podcast episode, well, after every single episode, onto the next one, I become slightly better at being a podcaster. That's just how it is. So like I said, the more you face things that you're afraid to do, the more you level up. And the quicker you face them, the quicker you level up also. And of course, like Gary Vee also said, if I could give a little opinion, a little like, if I could give you a little bit of advice, I'm not accomplished podcast or whatever, but let's say this is my 56th episode. So maybe I know a little bit more than someone who never did a podcast episode, right? Because I did 56 episodes. So maybe I'm a bit slightly better than someone who never did an episode. Your first episode, you're going to be afraid. That's normal. You're going to be afraid of the camera. You're going to be afraid of the lights. You're going to be afraid. You're going to be thinking about all your insecurities. You're going to be thinking about what are other people going to think about me. Do I look stupid? Do I say stupid things? Did I speak correctly? Did I say something funny? You're going to be like confused in your head while doing your first podcast episode. That's normal. That was the case for me. And that was also the case for Luca. But after doing many episodes, first of all, you realize that there's nothing really much to it. It's just a camera. It's like talking to a normal person. I always imagine that I'm talking to one person. Generally, it's my father because he's like my best friend. He's the person that I talk to the most with in my life, in my everyday life. So when I talk in front of the camera, I just imagine that I'm talking to my dad. Shout out Zach Delich. I just imagine I talk to him. Maybe it's the lights that people are afraid of, but whatever, your first episode, you're going to be afraid. But when you do your first episode, you're going to get comfortable in front of the camera after. Maybe it can take more than one episode. Now I'm talking about it, personal experience. Me, it took one episode. The first episode, I was afraid like a little bitch. I was afraid. I'm not going to lie. I was fucking afraid the first episode. The second episode, I wasn't afraid anymore. After the first episode, I wasn't afraid anymore. Now, of course, there's levels to it. Of course, now I'm way more comfortable in front of the camera than I was at my second episode. But still, after my first episode, I was way more comfortable in front of the camera. And not only that is, once you start posting a lot and you realize that at the end of the day, people truly don't give a fuck about you. Even if you're Justin Bieber, if you're fucking Donald Trump, if you're Elon Musk, at the end of the day, no one gives a fuck. That's the truth. And so now this could maybe affect your ego a little bit. Oh, you know what? I posted this episode. Not only did some people laugh about me or leave negative comments, but other people just didn't give a fuck. But when you post more and more, you're just going to realize it's nothing personal. People are going to maybe leave a hate comment. You don't know why he left it. Maybe he had a bad day. Maybe he's jealous. Maybe he hates his life, or maybe he hates you. And even if he hates you, who gives a fuck? I mean, you're not supposed to be loved by everyone. Who's loved by everyone? No one's loved by everyone. If you don't have enemies in life, you're not living life correctly. That's a fact. And that's a fact of life. If you don't have enemies in life, you're not living your life correctly and to the fullest of your capabilities and just fully. You're not living your life fully if you don't have enemies. So after your first episode, after you start posting a lot, you're going to realize life isn't high school and that people actually don't give a fuck about me. And then slowly you're going to become more and more resilient to hate comments. When people start, let's see, now I have a little community. It's not like I'm not famous. I'm far from it. But I have a little community, especially on Instagram and TikTok. And they leave a lot of hate comments when I talk about football, soccer with my brother, Luka Delic. Shout out Luka Delic, the GOAT. So they leave a lot of hate comments. It never really affected me because in my mind, from my own opinion, I know I have a crazy football IQ. That's why when people say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know about football, I don't get insecure because in my mind, I have zero insecurities about my footballing IQ. I know that I know more football, more than 99.999999999% of football fans. I know football better than them. That's why I don't really care. But you become more resilient to hate comments the more that you post content on social media. And you just realize that it's actually nothing. It's a random guy behind his phone who leaves a message and then he goes on with his life. And imagine that guy took 30 seconds to write that message. And if you take that badly, those two phrases that he left, or one phrase or three words that he left, that could affect your entire day or your entire week. You should be resilient to it and not give a fuck what other people say. Andrew Tate, this is for you, bro. I saw a video, or was it a tweet? I think it was a tweet actually. He tweeted out, Justin Trudeau is finally gone. Now I'm paraphrasing, of course. I'm paraphrasing right now what he tweeted out. Justin Trudeau has resigned. Let's fucking go. Pierre Poilievre for 2025 Prime Minister of Canada. Then he said Andrew Tate for PM 2033 maybe? Something like that. Andrew Tate. I don't hate you. I don't really love you. Really. It's not like I'm a follower of you. I find you funny. You're actually very funny and very entertaining. And you're very an articulate individual, especially in front of the camera. You're very articulate and you express yourself very, very well. I'll give that to you. Actually, sometimes I look at your videos to learn from you to how to articulate so well in front of the camera and how to express yourself and how you express yourself so well in front of the camera. Of course, as you guys know, English is my third language. So it's not the easiest language for me to use, but still I feel like I have a pretty good English. I can express myself fully. I can say every word I have to say, whatever. But Andrew Tate, you'll never, ever be Prime Minister of Canada. I don't give a fuck. You weren't born here. By law, I know that in Canadian law, you don't have to be born in Canada to be a Prime Minister, which in my opinion is a stupid law. It should be changed. But Andrew Tate, you'll never be Prime Minister of Canada because you weren't born here and you weren't raised here and you're not a Canadian. No one will vote for you. I appreciate your online presence. You're very funny. When it comes to your analogies and your philosophy regarding man and woman relationships, I agree 100%. Now, I don't know about your personal life. I don't know if you're really like that, or I don't know if you're innocent or guilty. They said you were innocent recently. So, hey, if by law you're innocent, then I guess you're innocent. I don't really give a fuck what you have to say. But when it comes from the few clips that I listened of you regarding male and female relationships, I agree. That's how women are. Now, sometimes I feel like you go in the extremes. I get it's social media. You have to go sometimes in the extremes to make a point, to be more dramatical because that's social media. But I feel like you know better. The girls that you talk about are whores. They're not good girls, and good girls do exist. Not every single girl is out there to get someone. Not every single girl is out there to get him. There's a video of you I saw that you were talking about how Cristiano Ronaldo is dumb for having 5 kids. I think it's 5 or 6 kids with Georgina because Georgina is gonna bleed him dry. I mean, I think that's a stupid take on your behalf. I think Georgina and Ronaldo, they just have a beautiful and loving relationship. I think that Georgina is a lovely lady, is a beautiful woman, is a good girl, is a good woman, is a good mom, is a good wife. I don't think she's out there to get him, to take all his money and bleed him dry. I think they just truly fell in love, and now they have a beautiful life together, and that she's gonna raise Ronaldo's five or 6 kids. I'm not sure, but like I said, you know a lot about women, but prostitutes. You don't know a lot about good women, because I think you spent most of your life around whores, around bitches. I'm sorry for using that word, pardon my French, but you spend a lot of your time around whores and now a lot of your time around good girls. So you know how they think, but you don't know how good girls think. And so I think your take on Ronaldo's wife wasn't the best. I think you saw it from the lens of if he was dating a cam girl, like maybe you were dating many cam girls when you had your cam girl business, and then you saw how they act and how they react and how they act in certain situations. But with good girls, they don't act and react the same way in the same situations as bad girls. So my thoughts on Justin Trudeau resigning. I mean, it had to happen. I mean, I don't hate Justin Trudeau. I know maybe you can clip many of my podcasts where I say, oh, I hate Justin Trudeau. I don't really give a fuck. I mean, when I was younger, especially when I was younger, I really didn't care about politics. Now I start to listen more to politics, and I care now for politics, especially for Canadian politics. And especially because I'm born and raised in Canada and I live in Canada. So that's why for me, Canadian politics and American politics are the most important because I live here. But it had to happen. I mean, guys, last reality check, I said all the stats and facts regarding Justin Trudeau. He's the most hated prime minister of all time. And these are stats. These are percentages, polls done by researchers. He's the most hated prime minister. He was in power for, I think, 10 years, almost 10 years. I mean, that is a law that Canada should change. I mean, it should be like USA, where no one can be prime minister or president or a leader of a country for more than 8 years. So 2 terms. I think that's a very good law to have because after 8 years, no matter who you are, you're gonna be hated. You're gonna be hated. Same went for Jean Chrétien. He was the most loved prime minister of all time, but he was also the second most hated prime minister of all time. And it's not because he became a bad person or because he changed. He was the same person for the same time, but different times require different people and different changes. So when Jacques Chrétien started off, he was perfect for that time, and he brought what Canada needed at that time. But after 9-10 years in office, he wasn't the man anymore for the job. He was the same person, same lovely person, same intellectual, same whatever, but it was a different time, and Canada needed a different direction and needed a change, and he wasn't the man anymore. So no matter who you are, after a certain period of time, you're gonna be hated. Okay, so these are my thoughts on the Trump tweet. Of course, you guys saw that Donald J. Trump, right now we're January 20th, his inauguration was 4 to 6 hours ago. So he's now officially the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. But recently he tweeted out, many people in Canada, and now I'm literally quoting him on one of his tweets. So at Real Donald Trump, many people in Canada love being the 51st state. The United States can no longer suffer the massive trade deficits and subsidies that Canada needs to stay afloat. Justin Trudeau knew this and resigned. If Canada merged with the US, there would be no tariffs, taxes would go way down, and they would be totally secure. Totally secure is in all capital letters, from the threat of the Russian and Chinese ships that are constantly surrounding them. Together, what a great nation it would be. I understand your logic because for people who live in Canada and in America, we can basically say that it's almost the same country, right? Almost the same people. They have almost the same history, right? People who came from England, colonizers who came from England and from France, and then they colonized North America and they created Canada and US. So it's basically the same history, almost the same people, almost the same laws, almost the same philosophy, almost the same capitalism, almost the same way of life. It's very, very similar, Canada and the United States. But it's two different nations. And as similar as they can be, and as similar as they actually are, it's two totally different countries. So Trump, let me say to you, Canada will never be a part of the United States. Canada will always be its own entity, its own country. Thank you for your consideration. Thank you for your interest, I guess. But no thank you at the same time because it will never happen. We'll always be best friends, right? Canada and the United States, as it should be. Help each other, protect each other, whatever. Help each other mostly and have the same relationship that we always had, which is practically brothers, best friends. But Canada will always be Canada and America will always be America. Two different countries. As similar as we are at the same time totally different. That was all I had to say for Donald J. Trump's tweet. And then we can also react to Trudeau's and Musk's reply to Trump's tweet. Justin Trudeau said, there isn't a snowball's chance in hell that Canada would become part of the United States. Workers and communities in both our countries benefit from being each other's biggest trading and security partner. Justin Trudeau, for this one, I want to applaud you. Thank you for saying something that, because it was a bit disrespectful for Trump to call you the great governor of Canada and to call Canada the 51st state of the United States. It was a bit disrespectful. I didn't really care, didn't really take it personally because I know Canada, it's his own country. Trump can say whatever he wants. He talks a lot. He's a guy who talks a lot. You just sometimes just have not to even listen, not give a fuck. But Justin Trudeau, thank you for fucking standing up, for saying that it will never happen and there's not a snowball's chance in hell. So kudos on that. Congrats on that. And then Elon Musk said, girl, you're not the governor of Canada anymore. So it doesn't matter what you say. First of all, he's still the prime minister of Canada. Even though he resigned, he's still prime minister. It was funny how he said it. Elon Musk is he's not the funniest guy, but this was a little bit comical. He said governor of Canada. We don't have a governor here. We have a prime minister because we're our own country. So listen, there's nothing racist to this, but white people need to have more kids. Right now, the Canadian and American population is declining, meaning we have less kids than we should, and we have more debts. White people should have more kids, not only in North America but in Europe, so they preserve their culture and their way of life that they had for the past maybe close to 10,000 years now. The culture, the way of life that Europeans had, that Canadians and Americans have, which is very similar to Europeans because we came from Europe. So white people need to have more kids in order so that they preserve their land, their culture, and their way of life. There's nothing racist to it. It's just how it is. People in India think the same thing when it comes to their people in Africa and Asia and Southern America, wherever it is. It's just they have way more kids than white people in, let's say, in Europe or Northern America do. So recently on social media, I saw it was a clip of Andrew Tate who was on a podcast. I'm not sure whose podcast it was. I would love to shout out the podcast, but I forgot. And he said, he did an analogy and he said, imagine if there was a country with 1 billion white people, 1 billion Nordics, blonde hair, blue eyed. And he said that would be a powerhouse there. He said they would accomplish so much. They would do whatever without immigration. No one, like literally no one. That's what he said. Of course, Andrew Tate is known for going into the extremes. I mean, that would never happen with like a country with 1 billion white people. I mean, it's not like they're going to form one country and just let white people in. That's stupid. But what he wanted to say with this is that white people innovate the most, especially Europeans and North Americans, that they innovate the most and that they create the most. That's why he used this analogy of imagine if there was a country with 1 billion white people. And then he went on to say that that they can do everything, but they just don't have babies. And that's true. I think that white people are the people who have the less kids, especially in North America and Europe, Western Europe, especially because as my parents, they're from Eastern Europe. I think that in Eastern Europe, they have more kids than they do in Western Europe because of old traditions and old values, which is having more kids. But I just found this analogy of Andrew Tate it was comical, but at the same time, I see the reasoning behind it. I see the logic of it. And I see the reality in his extremes, in his grandiose version of what would happen if there was a country like India, but filled with 1 billion white people. Okay, so as you guys know, I'm a big Sopranos fan. For me, The Sopranos is the greatest TV show of all time by far. I would put Sopranos first, then Breaking Bad second. Breaking Bad is actually very, very close to The Sopranos. It's the same mentality. It's criminal, right? It's a criminal TV show. And it's very realistic. It's very down to earth and it's very real life. Of course, it remains TV, it remains cinema, but it's the closest it gets to real life. And that's why in my opinion, it was so popular and it was so famous among the masses and amongst many people. But I remember there was an episode where Tony Soprano, which is who he is an Italian American, third generation Italian American, and there's an episode where he went on. I'm not sure against who, but he was mad at one of his coworkers, one of his colleagues, who kept getting insecure and mad about being an Italian American. Oh, these Native Americans, they keep shitting on us because Christopher Columbus came from Italy and he massacred many of our Native Americans, blah, blah, blah. And he kept having this group mentality. And Tony Soprano stepped in and said, why do we always feel the need to have this group mentality? That we only feel good when our group does good. And then he went on to say to his friend, you accomplish a lot in your life and you have a hot wife, not because you're Italian American, because you're of Italian descent. It's because you are who you are. You're who you are as an individual. That's what matters. No one gives a fuck about your group. You shouldn't even care about your group. Who cares what your group does? How they're seen by society. The most important is who you are as an individual. And that's why individual mentality should always be over your group mentality. And I feel like many people who come from minorities, mainly, let's say for Serbian Canadian, many Serbian Canadians, they keep this group mentality. I don't know why, but it's not good. They only feel good if the group feels good, if the group is seen as good by the whole of society. But at the end of the day, it's who you are as a person. I don't give a fuck if I'm Serbian Canadian or whatever. Who I am is who I am. What I accomplish is what I accomplish. If I accomplish a lot, it's because I'm Andre Delic and not because I'm of Serbian descent. It's because I'm an individual who I am. That's what matters. Okay, this is a message for Jagmeet Singh. Okay, listen, Jagmeet Singh. No disrespect. I love you, actually. I love everyone, as you guys know. But you will never, ever, ever be Prime Minister of Canada. And why? Now, guys, this is not racist, but bro, I mean, you're of Indian descent. Like I said many times, in my opinion, there should be a law in Canada, like there isn't in America, for people who don't know, that you have to be born on American soil to be president of the United States. Canada doesn't have this law, but it should have. You should be born on Canadian soil, and not only that, I would add that your parents need to be born on Canadian soil, and your grandparents, so that you're fully Canadian, fully 100% Canadian, for you to be eligible to be Prime Minister of Canada. And I mean, my parents aren't born here, right? So that would take me off of the equation. I don't mind. It's okay. Andrew Delish for PM, no more if it has to happen. I don't really care. But same goes for these other people. So Jagmeet Singh, even though, I mean, it will never happen, you're way too far. No one really votes for you, not many people. You have the Liberal Party, you have the Conservative Party, and you even have the Parti Québécois who is above you. So, I mean, it's never going to happen. But Jagmeet Singh, for you to become Prime Minister of Canada, I mean, I don't care, but you have a turban on your head, bro. I mean, if you were to become Prime Minister of Canada and we were to send you somewhere to represent Canada and to represent Canadians, and we send a guy who no disrespect, but who has a turban on his head, that's not Canada. That's India or Sri Lanka. I don't know where you're from, but that's not Canada. That's why people will never vote for you. Again, I wouldn't really care if you had a turban. I would prefer that you didn't, for my Prime Minister to not have one. I mean, I'm being honest right now, but people aren't going to vote for you. And I know that recently, I'm in sociology university, and there was in one of my classes, one of our professors, he put a video of, I'm not sure which year it was, probably in early 2016. There's a video of Jagmeet Singh amongst people talking, and there's an old Canadian who went to Jagmeet Singh, and he told Jagmeet Singh, you know what? If you want to have more votes, you should take off your turban. And he got all mad and he said, no, I think you're wrong. I think that was racist, whatever. Even my professor and my colleagues at my class thought that was racist. There's nothing racist to it. The way that the old guy said it, first of all, was very nice. He said it in a very nice and good intentions. He didn't say in a way to bring you down. He just gave you advice, which, if I might add, he was right. I mean, Canadians aren't going to vote for a guy who has a turban on his head. He gave you some good advice, actually. And for people in my class who think that's racist, it's not racist. It's just a fact of life. If you go to Serbia and you have a turban on your head, you're not even going to get one vote. Not even one. And I'm not abusing right now. Not one person will vote for you. Same goes for the other way around. Let's say there's a white Canadian who goes to India and he wants to be president, or I'm not sure if they have a president or a prime minister in India, whatever. He wants to be the leader of India. And he's a tall white guy with blonde hair and blue eyes who talks like a Canadian. They'll never vote for him. Never, ever. And plus, he wears a big cross on his neck. Come on, man. And imagine there was an Indian who was to tell him, you know what, my friend, if you want more votes in India, you should take off your big cross, because India isn't a Christian nation, right? More people would identify with you and they would be more inclined to vote for you. That would be some smart advice, right? And people in my class listening to this, they would say, yeah, that would actually be some smart advice. But when it's the other way around, just because it's white people, it becomes racist. I mean, come on, guys. It's not racist. It's just a fact of life. If I go to a Muslim country with a big cross on my neck, with a big necklace with a cross on it, and I want to be prime minister of president or leader of the country, it's not going to happen because it's a Muslim country. It's not a Christian country. They're not going to vote for me because I'm not one of them. It's basic knowledge. It's basic common sense. Same goes for here. Jagmeet Singh, if you want more votes, first of all, you'll never be prime minister. It won't happen. It won't happen. There's no way. But if you want more votes, it would help if you would take off your turban. That's a fact. Nothing racist. It's just a fact. So recently, I don't know if you guys, for people who saw the podcast of Mark Zuckerberg with Joe Rogan, I watched it. It was a good podcast. I'm happy that people of big statures like Mark Zuckerberg go on Joe Rogan, like Elon Musk or Donald Trump or Jordan Peterson or whoever, because then you can truly see how they think and what their intentions are. And I'm happy because recently, man, Instagram, Facebook, whatever Meta is, their censorship has been out of this world. It's been fucking crazy, man. You can't even say a single thing. You write, I mean, I think I wrote a comment, or not me, it's someone who I know. There's a video, a clip of a woman of a fat woman, if I might add. And the clip is her like getting dressed, whatever, in gym clothes. And she wrote down, "Do I look fat?" Then people how people on Instagram can be ruthless in the comment section. People said, "Yes, you do actually." I mean, you do. She said it in like a sarcastic way. "Oh, do I look fat? Come on, like I'm not fat, blah, blah." And people went after her, of course, that's social media. He said, "Yeah, actually you do." And then one of my friends wrote, "Yes, you do look fat." And that comment got banned because it was hate speech. I mean, that's not hate speech. If maybe he would have wrote, "You fat, ugly pig," whatever, maybe that's a bit more hate speech. But even that shouldn't get banned or censored. But to simply write, "Yes, you actually do look fat," so to respond to her question, and that gets banned, that makes no sense. And even for TikTok, there's one of my clips personally where I simply stated that Messi's wife is hotter than Ronaldo's wife. It's as simple as that. I just stated that Messi's wife is hotter than Ronaldo's wife. And that video got took down because of hate speech. That's hate speech? I said that in my opinion, Messi's wife looks better than Ronaldo's wife. Someone can say, I disagree. In my opinion, Ronaldo's wife looks better than Messi's wife. I would say, okay, that's what you think. This is what I think. But so it's my podcast. I said what I think. And it is, like I said many times now, Messi's wife is harder than Ronaldo's wife. And that video got took down for hate speech or whatever they say. I think it's hate speech. I'm not sure. But just the fact that he took down that video, I didn't even call Ronaldo's wife ugly. I didn't say she's whatever. I didn't even insult her. I just said that Messi's wife is hotter, and that video took down. So now, and I wanted to praise Mark Zuckerberg now because recently he said that he's gonna be less harsh on banning videos or content or whatever. He's gonna take many censorships off, like Elon Musk did. So, I mean, I think that's needed. I mean, in this day and age, it's like we can't say anything anymore. I feel like it's slowly coming to a halt and it's slowly turning the other way around where freedom of speech will come back and where you will have the liberty to say what you have to say, which is how it should be. As long as you don't threaten someone, which is something illegal, which I would never do or which many people would never do, many media personalities would never do, is threaten someone that you're going to beat up someone or kill someone or whatever. That's illegal. That should be illegal to say, as it already is. But for anything that isn't illegal, like Elon Musk stated, as long as people don't do anything illegal on my platform, which is Twitter X, as long as they don't say anything illegal or do anything illegal, it's not going to be taken down. That's how it should be. So Mark Zuckerberg, please be more like Elon Musk. Take down your censorships. It's way too much. It'll be better for everyone. It's going to be more humane. Your platforms are going to be more humane because that's how humans are. We just say how it is. We just say it how it is. And if people don't like to get commented on, they don't like people talking about them, then don't go on social media. Don't do content on social media. If you do content on social media, it's because you're ready to take criticism, because you don't care or because whatever reason, but you have to be ready to take criticism if you do content on social media from whoever, from a guy you know or from a guy you don't know or from a guy who lives 10,000 kilometers from where you are. You have to be ready to take criticism for everyone if you do social media content. If you don't want to take criticism, then don't do social media content. So there's a podcast recently I saw that I discovered on Instagram, but they're everywhere, right? On every major platform. And the podcast is Girls Gone Bible. I think they wanted to, like the movie Girls Gone Wild or the TV show, I'm not sure. I think it's a movie. But this is Girls Gone Bible. And it's two women, hot women, if I might add, who do podcast episodes about the Bible, about Christianity. I didn't dig deep into their podcast. I watched a couple of clips. I didn't watch full episodes, only a couple of clips. But I get the gist of it. It's two hot women, very hot, if I might add. One is hotter than the other one, in my opinion. I hope this doesn't get taken down because I said that one girl is hotter than the other one. I think her name is Angela. I think she's Albanian, I think. But yeah, so the concept is two very hot women who do episodes talking about the Bible, preaching the gospel, preaching the Bible, talking about Jesus and how people should act in life. Now, I'm not sure if they're playing an act or if they are truthful. Because for two hot women like them, to be talking about the Bible like they do. It's hard to believe, man. In this day and age, it's very hard to believe. I don't know if they're doing it for clicks. I think it's a mix of both. I think they're not as Christian as they portray themselves to be. But at the same time, I don't believe them to be like sluts. So I think it's a mix of both. I feel like they are Christian girls. They do like follow the Bible, follow their religion. But it's not to the extent that they portray themselves, because I think also with social media, they go maybe a step further to look more Christian, because they're smart, right? They know, look at us, two hot girls like us, and we preach the Bible and we act like extremely good girls. That's going to get a lot of clicks, a lot of likes, a lot of follows, a lot of subscribers. But Angela, I'm pretty sure her name is Angela from that podcast. Angela, if you see this, let's do a podcast. Me and you only, because you're hotter than your friend. I'm joking. Your friend can also join. We can do a podcast because I'm a big Christian. We can talk about good Christian values. We can preach the Bible. We can talk about all good Christian things, right? So let's do a podcast together. If you ever see this, you're probably not going to see it. Maybe in the future. Who knows? God be with me. Maybe it will happen. But if you see this, I love your concept. You guys have a lot of followers. Keep doing what you do. And maybe one day we'll do a podcast together. Qui ça, je pense que je vais faire en français parce que ça a rapport avec Gatineau. Puis comme vous savez, moi je travaille dans les bars, fait 7 ans maintenant, je travaille au Shaker, puis là maintenant je travaille au Mardi Gras, qui est dans VH. Mais mon producer, Matt Perry, Charles Matt Perry, il travaillait pendant longtemps au Pile Mile, qui est dans VH pour le monde de Gatineau. Tout le monde connaît le Pile Mile. Puis récemment, je sais pas pourquoi, mais le VH est tellement dead. Le Mardi Gras, surtout, c'est vraiment dead. Mais même le VH, si c'est pas pour un vendredi, c'est dead. Un samedi, il me semble que récemment, un samedi, le 4 jeudi et le Pile Mile étaient fermés. Un samedi soir, fermé. Je peux pas comprendre. I mean, les jeunes entre 18 ans et 30 ans, qu'est-ce que vous faites? Comme sacrément, un samedi soir. Je comprends, c'est pas tout le monde qui sort, mais si on est qu'on est quoi, la population 300 000, on va dire, si on est 40 000, même comme 50 000 jeunes âgés de 18 ans à 30 ans, avant qu'il peut au moins avoir 1000 personnes qui sont en train de sortir, le minimum. Mais je sais pas qu'est-ce qu'ils font. Moi, je suis juste curieux de savoir qu'est-ce qu'ils font, ce qui m'intéresse. Pas juste ça, que après, quand je parle avec mes amis ou avec du monde qui sont environ de mon âge, tout le monde dit que Gatineau, c'est tellement plate. On est tellement une ville plate, on est tellement une ville silencieuse. Mais moi, j'ai le goût de leur dire, puis moi, je leur dis, mais c'est nous qui rend la ville plate. C'est pas la ville qui est plate, c'est nous qui rendent la ville plate. Si on est tous pas down de sortir, puis on est tous down de rester à la maison, puis regarder la télé, puis rien faire, mais c'est sûr que pour le monde qui sont down de sortir, qui sortent dans le VH un samedi soir, imagine ça, un samedi soir, même un vendredi soir, récemment, c'est pas le meilleur. Peut-être le 4 jeudi, je pense, ceux qui ont les meilleures soirées récemment. Mais un vendredi soir, j'étais au Pile Mile, puis c'était pas tant rempli. Même le 4 jeudi, c'était pas tant rempli. Le Mardi Gras, c'était dead. Petite grenouille, c'est juste des Anglais de 15 ans, tabarnak. Fait que ça, il y a personne qui va là. Mais c'est nous qu'on rend la ville plate parce qu'on est plate, si je peux le dire honnêtement, on est plate. On rend la ville plate. Fait que si on veut rendre la ville plus nice, je veux dire, on doit être plus nice, n'est-ce pas? C'est pas la ville qui est plate, le Gatineau. Il y en a nos bars, qu'est-ce qu'il faut avoir. C'est juste nous, les jeunes, qu'on est plate. And like I said in the beginning, not in the beginning, but recently on this podcast, regarding Jagmeet Singh never being Prime Minister of Canada. And he's born here, but his parents aren't. And now there's this guy, I think he's from Ottawa, Chandra Arya. So my thoughts on Chandra Arya running to become Prime Minister of Canada. He's an immigrant from India who came here at the age of like 49. And he tweeted out on X, I am running to be the next Prime Minister of Canada, to lead a small, more efficient government, to rebuild our nation and secure prosperity for future generations. We are facing significant structural problems that haven't been seen for generations, and solving them will require tough choices. So Chandra Arya, if you see this, listen, I'm going to say the nicest way possible. You will never, oh my God, I don't know how you even have the audacity to consider yourself as a candidate to be Prime Minister of Canada. You're an immigrant from India who came here at the age of 45, 46, whatever. You have a thick accent and you want to be Prime Minister of Canada. My dad came here at the age of, I think, 30. He was 31 maybe when he came here. He would never, and he's a very narcissistic individual. Like, oh, I'm going to do this. And he would never have the balls, the audacity to say, I'm going to be Prime Minister of Canada. Never, ever. And he's a white Christian from Serbia. That would help his chances way more than you. But Chandra Arya, come on. Be for real, bro. You want to be Prime Minister of Canada? It's never, ever going to happen. And not only that, you should be banned from running for Prime Minister. Let me explain this before people get all, oh my God, he's racist, he hates immigrants, whatever. No, it's because if shit hits the fan and Canada has a problem with India, this guy is going to be more on India's side than on Canada's side. And he wants to represent Canada and he wants to become Prime Minister of Canada. That's a fact. If shit hits the fan and Canada has a problem with India, he's going to be more on India's side than on Canada's side. And that's why we don't need him as Prime Minister. And that's the case for 99% of immigrants. The reason, and then you have some immigrants, the reason that they want to be Prime Minister, it's not because they love Canada and they want to help Canada become a better nation. It's because they want the hype of it, the title, oh, I'm Prime Minister of Canada. It's their ego talking. They want the good feeling of being Prime Minister. They want the hype. They want the success. They want, oh, I'm the Prime Minister of a big and great nation like Canada. That's why they want to be Prime Minister. It's not because they want to help Canada. Because if shit hits the fan, 99% of immigrants, they're more for their native country than for their new country. And same goes for Chandra Arya. I'm pretty sure that's the name. I don't know how we say it. I don't really care. In Canada, we say Chandra Arya. That's how I'm going to say your name. If shit hits the fan and India has a problem with Canada, he's going to be more on India's side than on Canada's side. That's why Chandra Arya, forget about it. The audacity you have, it's surprising. I don't know where you get that audacity to consider yourself Prime Minister of Canada, but hey, I guess, I don't know where you get that confidence. I guess good for you, kudos, whatever, but it's never going to happen. You can forget about it. And Canada, please put in a law that people who aren't born here, to Canadian-born parents and to Canadian-born grandparents shouldn't be allowed to run for Prime Minister. Please put that law. And like I said, that would exclude me. I don't care. I'm down. I'm still down for it because that's how it should be. So recently now with social media, I see many guys, not only on social media, but even amongst my peers, amongst my group in school, whatever, I hear many guys complain about how hot women have it easy in life. Oh my God, hot women have it so easy. They can do whatever they want. Life is so easy for them, blah, blah, blah. For you to be a guy and to complain and to be in a way jealous of hot women and how easy they have it in life, that's very fucking gay. That's very gay. As a man, you should never complain about that. It's a fact of life. Yes, hot women have it really fucking easy in life. Almost everything is given to them, especially if they're like a 10 out of 10. But that's just life. And as a man, for you to complain about that, I find that very gay. Very feminine in a way. I understand other women complaining. I understand they're like in a competition amongst their peers, whatever. But for you to be a man and to complain about that is very fucking gay. Instead of complaining, you should say, you know what? That's how it is. Let me become a better version of myself, accomplish more, succeed more in life, get more money, get more clout, whatever it is. And let me be the guy who gets these women easily. Let me be the guy who gives them this beautiful life. Let me be that guy instead of complaining, especially being a straight man and complaining about how easily hot women have it in life. That is very fucking gay, in my humble opinion, of course. So in my opinion, it should be illegal to raise a flag on Canadian soil that isn't a Canadian flag. It should be illegal to raise a non-Canadian flag on Canadian soil. I don't care what's the occasion, what's the reason. But it should never happen to raise another flag on Canadian soil except the Canadian flag. Maybe we could raise some other flags, but Canada has to remain the main flag that's raised on Canadian soil because this is fucking Canada, man. Don't be raising no Palestine flag. Don't be raising no Israel flag or Serbian flag or Algerian flag, whatever. This is Canada. Only Canadian flags should be raised on Canadian soil. I don't care what's the fucking occasion. I don't care what's happening. No Ukrainian flags, no Russian flags, whatever. On Canadian soil, only Canadian flags should be raised. Okay, so these are my thoughts on everyone being up So whenever I meet a gambler or a person that gambles often, more than the average person, or even an average gambler. Every single time I meet a gambler, an average gambler, or a more than average gambler, they all say that they're up. Everyone's up at gambling. I mean, come on, guys. How can everyone be up at gambling? No one's down. No one's capable of admitting, you know what? I gamble a lot, or I gamble average, and I lose more than I win. That's normal. Everyone who gambles is down. No one's up. Believe me. The only way you can be up at gambling is if you gamble once. You put like $20 on blackjack, you hit one hand, you hit blackjack, you win 20, and you get the fuck out of there, and you never get back to the casino. That's the only way you can be up at gambling. That's the only way. If you go more than 3 times, there's no way you're up. There's no way. I mean, guys, especially for people who gamble a lot, every single time I meet an addict, a gambler, an addict, as someone who has an addiction at gambling, every single time he tells me he's up at gambling. Bro, I mean, who are you trying to fool? Maybe you fool your parents into believing that yes, you don't lose money because they're afraid for you to lose your money at gambling. But bro, we all know that you're down. For all my gamblers out there, none of you guys are up. None of you guys. You guys are all down. You all lost more money than you won. And then some of you guys are like, no, let me pull up my phone. I have notes. Like, bro, when you lose, you just don't write it on your notes. But when you win, you write it on your notes. But you lose way more than you win. If everyone was up at the casino, casinos would be bankrupt right now, right? How would they make money? Everyone makes more money than they lose. How would the casinos make money? They don't make money by selling alcoholic drinks. I mean, they do, but that's not what keeps the lights on at casinos. What keeps the lights on at casinos and what makes casinos so rich is because everyone's down. Everyone loses money over there. It's just a fact. It's a stat. It's a fact of life. You cannot be up at the casino. And like I said, the only way you can be up is if you gamble once or twice. You win one hand in blackjack because you were fucking lucky, and then you get the fuck out of there. That's the only way you can be up. But if you gamble regularly or more than average, you're down. It's a fact of life. You're down, man. Come on. Say it how it is, guys. So récemment, je suis allé à Montréal. Ça va être vraiment quick, là, mais je voulais juste dire, je suis allé à Montréal, je suis allé à Toronto, je suis allé dans toutes les grosses villes de Canada. Puis je pense, honnêtement, les femmes les plus chaudes de Canada viennent de Montréal, man. For real, là, je marchais les rues. Puis moi, je vis pas à Montréal, je vais à Gatineau, là. Je marchais les rues, je suis comme, sacrément, man. Pourquoi je vis pas ici, bro? Pourquoi je vis pas à Montréal? Pourquoi je reste à Gatineau? Bien sûr, je suis né à Ottawa, mais j'ai grandi à Gatineau. Bien sûr, je viens d'ici, j'ai grandi ici, fait que je suis encore ici, j'ai l'université à Ottawa, peu importe. Mais j'étais comme, damn, faut que j'aille à Montréal, man. À Montréal. Les femmes les plus chaudes du Canada sont à Montréal, man, de loin. Okay, so recently, guys, on Netflix, there is this new documentary about Jerry Springer, the TV show, the Jerry Springer Show. I think that was the official name. And for people who don't know, it started off as a normal talk show, like Oprah, like Ellen DeGeneres, whatever. They brought on normal people and they talked about life. But then this guy, I forgot his name, he became the main producer, the main guy for the production team in the Jerry Springer Show, and he turned it completely upside down. He said, instead of bringing normal people and having normal conversations, let's bring the most fucked up people and have the most fucked up conversations and the most fucked up scenarios possible. And that's why the hit show, the Jerry Springer Show, was so popular. It even surpassed the Oprah Show at one time. Because Jerry Springer, who was the host of that show, they would bring the most fucked up people they could find with the most fucked up situations. They'll bring them in front of the camera and just hope for the most fucked up thing to happen. And most of those situations would end up in fight. That's why the Jerry Springer Show was known for, it was almost known as the WWE, as wrestling. That's how crazy it was, how many fights there were. But it wasn't fake. It was all real fights. And that's why it was so famous. And also WWE at that time was also very famous, which is, as you guys know, which is fake fights, right? Wrestling is fake. It's fake. The stories are fake, but what makes WWE so interesting is the storyline, and then the fights. It's TV. It's a show. It's like it's big cinema. It's entertaining to watch, but it's all fake. Same was for the Jerry Springer. For people who didn't watch the documentary, so the Jerry Springer Show would have the main producer. He's the guy who had all the ideas, but then they would have other little little producers of the show, maybe 10 of them or 20 of them. And their job would be to find the most fucked up people with the most fucked up situations and bring them on the show. But before bringing them on the show, they would vet them and how to act in front of the camera. Now, allegedly, Jerry Springer didn't know about this. He was only the host, and he thought it wasn't scripted. Actually, it wasn't scripted, but the producers would vet their clients a little bit on how to act and how to, like, they would amp them up. Like, you know what? They would amp up these people. You know what? He fucking cheated on you. She cheated on you. Your best friend slept with her. Come on, man. How aren't you mad? Get mad in front of the camera. You have to be mad. You have to be all expressive, all fucked up, whatever. And I feel like in that day and age, that's what, because at the end of the day, people can say whatever they want about the Jerry Springer show. They can talk all they want badly about it. It got the most views in its prime. In its peak, it had the most views, more than Oprah, more than whoever. So, like it or not, it spoke with the people of America and with the people all around the world who did watch the Jerry Springer show. It got millions of views. So I feel like at that time, maybe people were looking for that entertainment, which was known as trash TV, trashy TV. I feel like people were looking for that. But I feel like now there's been a shift in that now we're looking for more reality of life. Maybe it was with podcasts. I think podcasts played a big role. Like, let's say Joe Rogan or Andrew Huberman or Chris Willex. I feel like now people are more looking for the reality, for real life. Maybe with social media that had a big impact also. That before with the Jerry Springer show or WWE with Vince McMahon, they were looking for just entertainment. They didn't care if it was fake. Even if they knew it was fake, if it's entertaining, I'm going to watch it because I want to be entertained. Because like the producer explained of the Jerry Springer show, many people live boring lives, right? They wake up, back pain, they got to go to work a boring 9 to 5. Once they get home, they just want to be entertained. And that's even, they don't care if it's fake or not. If it's entertaining, they're going to watch it. Many people know and always knew that wrestling was fake, but they still watch it. They still watch it to this day because it's entertaining. That's entertainment. People only care for entertainment. And that's what the Jerry Springer show was. It was very fucking entertaining, very entertaining. Even maybe if sometimes it wasn't scripted, but a bit oriented to be more scripted in front of the camera. But at the end of the day, it was entertaining. But I feel like nowadays, with podcasts and with social media, with whatever vlogs even you can add, that now in social media, you have to be more honest and more truthful about who you are and about life and about how you perceive life, and to be more real and to be more regarding more the reality of life. That's what gets you more clicks. Maybe I'm wrong in this, but I feel like now there's been a shift towards with the new age of social media and podcasts and vlogs or whatever other format, streaming, like a perfect example, streaming, I watch it. It's streamers in front of a camera, just being who they are, being entertaining, but remaining who they are for hours and hours and hours. Sometimes it's even like 24 hours. I know Kai Cenat, he does like 24-hour streams, or like streams that are on for more than 24 hours. Like you literally see him sleep with his guests. They just sleep for 8 hours and the camera is on. Then they wake up, they have breakfast. And that's reality. That's like, they just stream their real life. Or Aishu Speed, who streams his real life for 3-4 hours when he goes on vacation somewhere. So I feel like now with streaming, podcasting, vlogging, social media, it's more about the reality of life and less about fakeness and just pure stupid entertainment or trash TV. I feel like there's been a shift in that recently. So as you guys know, Super Bowl 59 is coming up soon. I think it's middle of February. I'm not sure exactly what date, but he knows it because he produces, shout out Lazone Pound, he produces Lazone Pound. It's the 9th of February, Super Bowl 59. It's in New Orleans. And I know Kendrick Lamar is the Super Bowl halftime performance. Guys, since it's in New Orleans, it should have been Lil Wayne. I mean, come on, guys. It's the first, I don't know if it's the first time that it's in New Orleans, but Lil Wayne is the biggest artist that came out of New Orleans. And he's also one of the biggest rappers of all time. So this was the perfect moment for Lil Wayne to be the halftime show at the Super Bowl. and they chose Kendrick Lamar. Now people are saying, you know what, Kendrick Lamar deserves it, whatever. I'm not taking away the credit of Kendrick Lamar in his career. He's a big fucking rapper. He accomplished a lot, and he deserves whatever he gets. That's a fact. But guys, it's in New Orleans. I mean, when you think about New Orleans and singers and rappers, whatever, the first person that comes to the mind of 99% of people, it's Lil Wayne. Who else is there from New Orleans that's like as big as Lil Wayne or even as close to Lil Wayne? There's no one. It should have been Lil Wayne. In my opinion, he's maybe not top 5 of all time. In my personal list, he is top 5 of all time, in my personal favorite rappers. But he's top 10 for sure of all time as a rapper and what he's accomplished, how many records he sold or whatever. It should have been Lil Wayne. Kendrick, no disrespect, you're a big rapper. One of the greatest, also one of the giants of rap. But the fact that it's in New Orleans, it should have been Lil Wayne. You should maybe even invite Lil Wayne because that's his city, but it should have been Lil Wayne. So today is, like I said, it's January 20th. It was Trump's inauguration a couple of hours ago. I watched it. I watched especially Trump's speech. I'm going to comment briefly on it because I'm going to leave the full commentary for the next reality check. But it was good, man. I loved it. I'm not a Trump guy. I don't really care for Trump. He's not the best candidate there is, of course. But many people who voted for Trump didn't vote because they love Trump. It's because they're tired of wokeness. They're tired of all these new liberals that are way too far left. That's why they voted for Trump. I would have voted for Trump, even though I don't like Trump. I don't like his personality. I don't like how he is. But in this day and age, I would have voted for Republican, for Donald Trump. But his speech was good. I love how he ended it. He didn't end it with saying that from now on, there's only 2 genders in America, male and female, which I feel like 90% of human beings in America or in Canada agree with it. Even just across the world, 95% of people agree with that there's only 2 genders. But he said that now there's officially only going to be 2 genders, which is male and female. He pointed out many other aspects regarding, of course, the border crisis in the south of the United States, regarding illegal immigrants to the United States, regarding everything. Like I said, I'm going to comment briefly on it. But I liked it. He talked a lot about freedom of speech, how now there's been way less of it, and how he's going to make sure that there's less censorship and more freedom of speech, which me as a podcaster, I'm very fucking happy for that one. So briefly, commentary on Trump's inauguration. I loved it. Elon Musk was there. Jeff Bezos was there. Obama and his wife weren't there. I think that I saw Michelle Obama saying that she's not going to attend. She didn't attend. Barack Obama didn't attend. Many influencers. I know I saw Jake Paul and Logan Paul was there. Conor McGregor was there. Joe Rogan was there also. But of course, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos being the 2 biggest personalities that were there, the 2 richest people on planet Earth, they were there. Of course, as you guys know, Elon Musk is a big Trump supporter. He's almost like his right-hand man. So, but the speech was nice, man. I liked the sound of it. Everything he said was, of course, what in this day and age we need regarding whatever wokeness, regarding freedom of speech, regarding liberty. And he called this day is going to be the official, I think, I forgot what he exactly said, but it was something regarding the official Freedom Day of America because he recame in power. How they're going to exploit more of their natural resources, less electric cars, more manufactured cars, engineered cars for American employers. He talked a lot about gas, taking their natural petroleum gas and exporting it to the world to make their country richer and their citizens richer. So in general, of course, the only 2 genders, I think, was what made the most buzz on social media when he said that there's only male or female. Of course, as you guys know, I agree 100% with that. In my mind, there was only male and female. And of course, I'm going to leave the commentary for reality check number 11. But in general, I love the speech. It looked good. It looked bright for the future. Canada, we're still very early in this process. We're still with Justin Trudeau, even though he resigned. But I'm pretty sure Pierre Poilievre is going to win. I'm pretty sure his speech is going to be very similar to Trump's speech, maybe a bit more Canadianized, so a bit different, of course. But in general, I love the speech. So this is the last thing I'm going to talk about on this reality check number 10. So I said it many times, there's a huge, huge difference between a man with a high body count and a woman with a high body count. And the reason is because it's way, way, way easier for a woman to have a higher body count than it is for a man. A woman, in simple layman terms, simply has to open her legs. That's it. That's it. If an average looking woman approaches 100 guys, 99 of those 100 guys will say, okay, yeah, let's sleep for the night. Of those 100% who are single. If she approaches 100 men who aren't single, 70% of those men are ready to cheat on their girlfriend just to go with that girl for one night. Even if she's average looking or even below average. And that's the difference between a man with a high body count and a woman with a high body count. That's why amongst their peers, a man who has a high body count is seen as a king amongst his peers, and a woman with a high body count is seen as a slut amongst her peers. It's because, for one, it's way harder, way harder. It's way harder for a man to have more kills, to have a higher body count than it is for a woman, and that's the difference. That's why men are seen as kings. I don't know which other word they're seen positively amongst their peers or amongst society, their perception in society, than for women with a high body count. And it's because it's the facility of it. For men, it's very hard, and for women, it's very easy. And it's been like that forever. Since humans exist, it's been like that. Ever since humans exist, it's been like that. It's like that even now. Even if people try to change the narrative and the perception of it, it's never going to happen. It's never going to change. Maybe 10% of people believe that, no, there's not a difference. But for 90% of human beings, we all know there's a difference, and that's the difference. That was it for Reality Check number 10. See you for future episodes, Sports with Luka Delic, or I'm going to have new guests on, or for new reality checks. Peace.